What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we actually just got the season 1.01 patch notes. It's August 23rd 2022, or rather that's when the patch is actually going to drop. This was posted today on August 22nd 2022. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into it and see what has changed. And something really important to note is that this patch is entirely server-side, so all the updates are online only and will not be reflected in local and lab play until the next patch. Meaning all of the buffs, nerfs, and changes that you see here will only be available when you are actually online fighting people. So if you try to fight your homies offline in local play, or of course you try to practice certain things in the lab, sadly, they will not be there yet, but they will be there in the next patch. Speaking of which, to commemorate such a special occasion, we have Morty actually joining the roster from Rick and Morty tomorrow, August 23rd. He will be our first Plumbus wielding character, it says, so really excited to see how Morty plays. I'm hoping that he's a very exciting character. Coming from Rick and Morty, that show is pretty crazy, so I think everybody's already expecting madness. So I'm looking really forward to getting to play him, and of course I will be playing him on my stream when he comes out in the afternoon once I am free. And of course you can expect a Morty guide from yours truly. Jumping into the general perks, you have Ice to beat you. Projectiles will only apply ice debuff to fighters that are not already debuffed by ice. Therefore, it seems like it's going to take the potential ability to stack on top of enemies that are already debuffed by ice. I'll take that. Unstacked cooldown refund decrease from 0.5 seconds to 0.25 seconds. Stacked cooldown refund decrease from 1 second to 0.5 seconds. Void and I were essentially using this perk so that every time we got hit, we would basically just regain more abilities. Like, say I use Lasso, right? Instead of it being that 12-second cooldown, next thing you know, I already have it up and it's only been like 5 seconds. So honestly, I do think that was a very smart nerf to it. I don't know if it'll be entirely useless, but I guess we'll see as we continue to play. Gameplay systems. Fix the bug where ability cooldowns may not trigger when projectiles are spawned close to terrain. Okay, that's a useful bug fix. But then we actually get straight into the patches, the nerfs, buffs, changes. Let's see what we got going on. Pause. 90% of you are not subscribed to the channel. While I understand that you don't necessarily have to, I would greatly appreciate it if you considered subscribing to the channel, especially if you enjoy the content, because I'm going to continuously put out fire videos for all of you in hopes of one day reaching my ultimate goal of 100k subs on YouTube. And once we get to that milestone, we shoot to the heavens for 1 million, and this can only happen with your support. So please, it's quick, it's free, and it would make me the happiest person in the world. Thank you guys so much. Much love. Arya actually getting some more love this time around. Assassin passive, reduced extra damage taken from 14% to 5%. That is a big jump. We're evaluating if this passive should be removed entirely. We want to take a step towards that while trying to not go too far too fast. We don't want to create an assassin dominated meta. Move list description of this change will not be updated until the next patch. So something to note, y'all, is that honestly, back in the day, Arya was actually insane. So for the people that are complaining about her right now, she was actually nuts. So I think that it's rather smart that they are being aware that they do not want assassins to just take over the meta, and assassins are some of the easiest characters where if you buff them a little bit too much, they could end up going buck wild. So good on them. I think Arya definitely still needs some help, and it's really interesting that they're evaluating if they just want to remove her passive and just make it something new, essentially almost changing the character naturally. And so seeing as that is something that they are willing to think about, makes me think down the line that that's also something that could be revisited for other characters as more and more characters get introduced to the game. Of course, you don't want the base roster to feel stale. You want them to feel pretty much up to date, you know, like the rest of the characters. Finn. Since we removed some power from the backpack on Finn, we're pushing some additional power into the rest of Finn's attacks to give him more kill options. His air and ground neutral special increase base damage from 5 to 6. Okay, so Finn is actually getting buffed. A lot of people are about to be pissed off by this. I think it's hilarious though. This base damage is increased by holding and charging the attack. His air and ground down special, the BMO Chop, increased damage from 18 to 20, and increase the knockback scaling from 18 to 20, so a little bit of buffs there, a little bit more damage and knockback. Assassin passive, reduce extra damage taken from 14% to 5%, so something very similar to Arya. And of course, with the same thing, they're essentially just saying like, yeah, they want to evaluate if they should remove this entirely. The move list description of this change will not be updated until the next patch. Garnet is getting some buffs next patch. You already see that highlighted right there for you. So Garnet players, you will be eating hopefully lovely come time for the next patch. Harley, also a touch to the assassin passive, but that's it. Nothing else for Harley. She's literally staying the same. Which is funny. I think experience is proving enough that Harley's very capable. I still think Harley's a great character. Harley is suffering from this whole notion similar to Cloud, where basically because she was so crazy, the fact that she got nerfed, people are trying to act like she's useless, when in reality, she's still a great character. So, yeah, that's what happens when you make a character fair. Iron Giant. Iron Giant is currently dominating with abnormally high win rates at every skill level. I have a lot to say about this. Iron Giant's neutral special with stacked cooldown reduction and Velma are causing too few windows for opponents to counterplay. Updates to Iron Giant, global updates to perks, and Velma updates should help provide more windows of opportunity for opponents against Iron Giant. So to say something about Velma real quick, notice how every patch that character has to get nerfed. And when she gets nerfed, they still find a way with this character to break something, or she's just still out of control. Every problem stems from Velma. I actually kind of at this point think that a lot of her moves and the way they function should actually just be revisited entirely, because that character, in my opinion, is out of control. Now, the Iron Giant, in my opinion, is a weird case. Maybe some bias, because Void and I normally just stomp this character outright. For the most part, we thought he sucked. We don't let him play the game. But I actually got to fight the Iron Giant Velma team last night against some competent players, and it felt like it wasn't skillful whatsoever. It felt like essentially you were literally just getting lamed out the entire time. Velma is able to continuously allow the Giant to keep buffering bolts over and over and over. The team had little to no drawbacks whatsoever. So it's to the point where it's just one of those teams where not only is it toxic and not fun to fight against, it's actually on the grounds of something that you might want to remove from your tournament list. Like, yo, you can't use this comp, because straight up it just defies logic and defies the way the game is supposed to work. So really nice that the devs understand that and they see that. But Iron Giant without Velma is still actually winning a lot, and I find that really interesting, because again, I thought that character was ass, not gonna lie. So to see the Giant getting nerfed more makes sense, because remember in the previous video, I thought, yo, Giant sucks, why is he getting nerfed? Now, when we all thought he was down bad, he's just living his best life. So the devs definitely saw something that we, the player base, did not. And going into the notes right here, we got the air and ground neutral special. Increased cooldown from 23 seconds to 25 seconds. Up air attack. Hitboxes shrank to more accurately fit the visuals. I feel like they keep hitting this move and there's still just some glitch or whatever's happening with this move that is just bypassing all these patches. And it's like the Giant cannot be stopped. That is nuts. His air and ground up special reduced damage by 1 and base knockback on final hit of spin. I think they're trying to make it so that that move just doesn't auto kill people, especially if they don't DI correctly. Air ground down special, allow cancel out of cannonball if it hits an enemy. So they actually gave him a buff. Okay. Superman fixed a bug that would allow Superman to grapple enemies that wall bounce even if his hitboxes did not connect. Taz buffs are incoming in the next patch, and God does he need them. To the Tazes that are out there that are still making it work, listen, I am with you, I support you, and I hope you guys kick ass in the next patch, because that character is hype. And of course, Velma. Air ground down special. Velma educated buff reduced cooldown return from 75% over 8 seconds to 50% over 8 seconds. So they kept the seconds the same, but they reduced it by 25 seconds. Let's see if this is enough. Something tells me that Velma is still just going to find a way to break the meta. And at that point, I feel like that is definitely a character that needs to just get taken back to the drawing board and revisit it entirely. Because straight up, It feels like everything stems from that character. And on a little side note, even though Bugs Bunny's not mentioned here, I actually still think he's the best character in the game. Funny enough, I actually still think I think Velma got nerfed a lot, but it wasn't enough. And I think Bugs Bunny didn't get nerfed enough. I still think that he actually is one of the safest characters in the game. Still defies a lot of rules off stage. I think that character is godlike. Still think he's just the best. And so I don't see any Wonder Woman in here. There's a couple of characters like missing overall, and I think that's fine. Not everybody always has to get buffed or nerfed. Excited to see what comes of the next patch. This one's a little short this time around. Definitely a little short this time around, but guys, it is all good. Tomorrow, Morty Day. Again, I will be streaming later in the evening, and I will be probably primarily running Morty to see if I end up liking the character. I will have a guide coming out ASAP. So just be patient. I'll probably come out like an hour or two after he comes out because I'll be working on it. So we'll see. I'll try to get it to you guys as quick as possible. But of course, as always, guys, be sure to follow me on all my socials. I'll actually plug my Instagram down below. I'm trying to hit 10K followers on Instagram, so I'll plug it in the comment section. Please follow if you have an Instagram. Be sure to sub here. It's totally free if you enjoy the content. I'll always keep these patch notes videos coming along with other content. And of course, follow me on my Twitch too, twitch.tv/NAKAT. I actually just hit 1K subs again for the second time this year on Twitch. It was a magical moment last night, and so I hope to keep creating magic with you guys on the Twitch channel. And of course, guys, thank you so much for watching as per usual. Take it easy. Peace out. Deuces.